to all? Yes, am I audible to all of you girls? Please message. Then we will start the session. फटाफट से मुझे मैसेज करिए, then we will start the session. I hope I am audible and visible to all of you. I hope I am audible and visible to all. Shaheen, Jyoti, Zeenat, am I audible to all of you? Please message fast, then we will start the session. Okay, so guys, today is the last class of this mains strategy and themes. Okay, today is class number 50. This is the last class for our mains. This is the last class of our mains perspective, class number 50. From tomorrow onwards, we will start with the most important current affairs for mains exam. From tomorrow onwards, we will start with the most important current affairs for mains exam. Okay. So today is the last class of this mains specific program. We had this is the 50th class. So we'll complete all this whole mains in these 50 classes we had completed. So from tomorrow onwards, we will start with current affairs for mains exam. I hope I am audible and visible to all of you. So let's start the session. Today's topic is extremely important. It talk about Viksit Bharat. Today's topic is extremely important. It talk about Viksit Bharat. Okay. So why I included this topic? The reason is that we had studied the whole mains. And now we all know what is infrastructure, what is finance, what is industries, what is food processing industry. We know everything now. So now when we talk about this Viksit Bharat, it is very much clear in our mind what all things we are talking on. Okay, so that is the reason this last topic is on Viksit Bharat 2047. So let's start the session. Viksit, just a second. Viksit Bharat 2047. Viksit Bharat, yeah, developed India by 2047. So Viksit Bharat, a vision document. It's a vision document. A vision document initiated by government. A vision document initiated by government to make India a developed nation by 2047 prepared under the leadership of Niti Aayog. Prepared under the leadership of Niti Aayog. Prepared under the leadership of Niti Aayog. A vision document initiated by government to make India a developed nation by 2047. Prepared under the leadership of Niti Aayog. Okay. Now, the key objectives are first, high income economy, reduction in poverty, global manufacturing hub, energy secure, energy secure, tech driven, tech tech driven, and sustainable development. Sustainable development. This is all being included in Viksit Bharat 2047's key objective. First is high income economy, second reduction in poverty, third global manufacturing hub, fourth energy secure environment, then tech driven, that is innovative, and fifth is sustainable development. These are the 5 key objectives of Viksit Bharat 2047. Firstly, they want an economy that is very high income economy. Secondly, reduction in poverty. Create a manufacturing hub for India to increase the overall contribution of manufacturing sector in GDP. Energy secure environment, tech driven, and sustainable development. These are the key areas under Viksit Bharat. These are the key areas under the Viksit Bharat. Now, if we talk about the macro level economic goals, macro level economic goals. What are the macro level economic goals? What all are the macro level economic goals? First, GDP target. GDP target. Currently GDP is at 4 trillion. Is at 4 trillion. Currently GDP is at 4 trillion. Target by 2047. Target by 2047. 30 to 35 trillion dollar. 30 to 35 trillion dollar. And to come in top 2 or 3 economies of world. Economies of world. What is that? First is GDP target. Currently the GDP is at 4 trillion. Target by 2047 is 30 to 35 trillion dollar. This is 4 trillion dollar. And to come in top 2 or top 3 economies of the world. This is the GDP target of India. Then, apart from that, per capita income. Per capita income. Per capita income. It is in 2025. In 2025, it is $2,600. In 2025, it is $2,600. By 2047, we want it to 18,000 to we want it to 18,000 to $20,000 by 2047. Third, high HDI, high human development index. High human development index. High human development index. Human HDI score. HDI score above 0.8. HDI score above 0.8 along with improvement in overall aspect of life. overall aspect of life. And fourth, other areas, other areas. This include clean energy leader, clean energy leader, clean energy leader, digital first economy, digital first economy, digital first economy, and economic powerhouse. Economic powerhouse. These are the initial, these are the initial macro level economic goals. These are the initial level macroeconomic goals. Firstly, GDP target. Currently, GDP is at $4 trillion. Target by 2047 to reach it to $30 to $35 trillion and to come in top 2 or top 3 economies of the world. Per capita income in 2025, it is $2,600. By 2047, we want it to $18,000 to $20,000. Then high HDI. HDI score above 0.8. HDI score above 0.8. HDI is score above 0.8 along with improvement in overall aspect of life. Fourth, other areas, clean energy leader, digital first economy, and economic powerhouse. These are the macro level economic goals. These are the macro level economic goals. Now, if we talk about sector specific goals, sector specific goals. What are the sector specific goals? First is fiscal discipline, fiscal discipline, fiscal discipline, and revenue mobilization. And revenue mobilization. Fiscal discipline and revenue mobilization. Broaden tax base. Broaden tax base. Broaden tax base. Rationalize. Rationalize subsidies. Rationalize subsidies. Disinvestment. Disinvestment. And monetization of pipeline. And monetization of pipeline. That is national pipeline, national monetization of pipeline. Okay. Apart from that, monetary and financial sector reform. Monetary and financial sector reform. नेशनल मोनेटाइजेशन प्रोग्राम लिख लीजिए इसको आप चाहे तो, अगर आप थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन हो तो. National monetization pipeline. Monetary and financial sector reform. Monetary and financial sector reform. What is that? Monetary and financial sector reform. Role of RBI in inflation targeting. Role of RBI in inflation targeting. Promoting digital currency. Promoting digital currency. Promoting digital currency. Development of capital market. Development of capital market. Development of capital market. and financial inclusion through digital public infrastructure. Through digital public infrastructure. These are the major objective. These are the major objective. केयर इकोनॉमी वर्सेस मोनेटाइज्ड इकोनॉमी एक टॉपिक है बेटा, सिलेबस का पार्ट नहीं है. केयर इकोनॉमी वही होती है जो मैं आपको समझाया था सुमित. केयर इकोनॉमी मतलब जिसमें ओल्ड एज लोगों का हम लोग ध्यान रख रहे हैं, छोटे बच्चों का हम ध्यान रख रहे हैं, जो अनपेड वर्क्स बेसिकली होते हैं, जो इनफॉर्म, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हम ये कहें जो नॉन इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी होती हैं, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल बड़े जो बुजुर्ग जो है उनका ध्यान रखा जा रहा है, छोटे बच्चों का ध्यान रखा जा रहा है, ये सब केयर इकोनॉमी का पार्ट है. और मोनेटाइज्ड इकोनॉमी हमारी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी का पार्ट है. ठीक है. सो मॉनेटरी एंड फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर रिफॉर्म, रोल ऑफ आरबीआई इन इन्फ्लेशन टारगेटिंग, प्रमोटिंग डिजिटल करेंसी, development of capital market and financial inclusion through digital public infrastructure. Third is trade policy. We can write foreign trade policy. Foreign trade policy. Now, how does foreign trade policy play a role? Foreign trade policy refers to foreign trade policy refers to national formal framework, national formal framework for law regulation, agreement and practice that govern international trade. That govern international trade. Export of target is export of goods and services to reach $2 trillion by 2030. Good morning, Khushi. So what is that? First of all, sector specific goals. First is fiscal discipline and revenue mobilization. Broaden tax base, rationalize subsidy, disinvestment and national monetization pipeline. Monetary and financial sector reform, role of RBI in inflation targeting, promoting digital currency, development of capital market and financial inclusion through digital public infrastructure. Third, foreign trade policy. It refers to national formal framework for law, regulation, agreement and practice that govern international trade. Target is export of goods and services to reach $2 trillion by 2030. These are the specific sector goals. These are the sector specific goals. Regarding to the development. Now the fourth, apart from that, in this part only, exports of goods and services depend on regional integration, depend on regional integration, depend on regional integration, bilateral investment, bilateral investment, reduce logistic cost, reduce logistic cost, export diversification, export diversification, export diversification, global, global supply chain, global supply chain, global supply chain, integration, integration in global supply chain integration, global supply chain integration, promote ease of doing business, promote ease of doing business. These all are the special things. Okay? These are the special things for promotion of export of goods and services. So export of goods and service depend on regional integration, bilateral investment, reduce logistic cost, export diversification, global supply chain integration, and promote ease of doing business. And promote ease of doing business. Now, apart from that, Indian foreign trade policy, Indian foreign trade policy, Indian foreign trade policy depend on four pillars. Depend on four pillars. It depend on four pillars. First, incentive to remission. Incentive to remission. Second, export promotion through collaboration. Export promotion through collaboration. Export promotion through collaboration. Then ease of doing business. Ease of doing business. Ease of doing business. Reduction in transaction cost. Reduction in transaction cost. Reduction in transaction cost. Emerging areas development. Emerging areas development. Emerging areas development. E-commerce. E-commerce. Developed districts as export hub. Develop districts as export hub. Set up town of export excellence. Town of export excellence. Set up town of export excellence and recognition of exporters. Recognition of exporters. These are the specific four pillars. These are the specific four pillars of foreign trade policy. First, incentive to remission, export promotion through collaboration, ease of doing business, reduction in transaction cost, emerging area development, that is e-commerce, develop districts as export hub, set up town of export excellence, and recognition of exporters. These are the major four pillars of foreign trade policy. हाँ खुशी, वो आज के लिए एक क्लास रखवाया था मैंने, कुछ डाउट्स थे बच्चों को, उसको क्लियर करने के लिए, ठीक है। सो दीज आर द 4 special pillars of foreign trade policy. Okay, so we have done 3 sectors. Now the 4th sector is manufacturing and infrastructure. Manufacturing and infrastructure. Manufacturing and infrastructure. Focus on PLI scheme. Focus on PLI scheme. Focus on PLI scheme. National infrastructure pipeline. National infrastructure pipeline. National infrastructure pipeline. Apart from that, Gati Shakti scheme. Gati Shakti scheme to make India a 5 trillion dollar economy. $5 trillion economy. Key sectors are electronics, EV, semiconductor, defense, and green hydrogen. Okay. 5th, agriculture and rural transformation. Agriculture and rural transformation. Agriculture and rural transformation. Shift from subsidy based production to product based support promote agri-tech organic farming and food processing build rural infrastructure farmer producer organizations, that is FPO, farmer producer organization, storage and cold chain. Then 6th, financial sector and formalization. Financial sector formalization. Now what is that? Digital banking, credit access to MSME, increase tax to GDP ratio, increase tax to GDP ratio, increase tax to GDP ratio, deepen bond market, deepen bond market, deepen bond market, reduce NPA, reduce NPA, and strengthen, and strengthen, reduce NPA and strengthen insolvency bankruptcy code, strengthen insolvency bankruptcy code, IBC code. ठीक है? So these are the sector specific growth India is focusing on. First is manufacturing and industry. Infrastructure focus on PLI scheme, National Infrastructure Pipeline, Gati Shakti scheme to make India $5 trillion economy soon. Key sectors are electronic, EV, semiconductor, defense and green hydrogen. Then agriculture and rural transformation. Shift from subsidy based production to product based support, promote agri-tech, organic farming and food processing, build rural infrastructure, farmer producer organization, storage and cold chain. Then financial sector formalization, digital banking, credit access to MSME, increase tax to GDP ratio, deepen bond market, reduce NPA and strengthen insolvency bankruptcy code. And strengthen insolvency bankruptcy code. अगर ये प्रॉपर नहीं आ रहा तो मैं यहां लिख देता हूं. And strengthen IBC code. Strengthen IBC code, insolvency bankruptcy code. ठीक है? I hope it is being clear to all. Now, human capital. Seventh is human capital development. Human capital development. Human capital development. What is that? Human capital development? Skill promotion, skill development through Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Skill India platform, Skill India platform, Skill India platform, new education policy, new education policy, digital access, digital access, Ayushman Bharat, Ayushman Bharat, Ayushman Bharat, digital mission, digital mission on health infrastructure, on health infrastructure are the part of all these, are the part of all these. And last is sustainability and green economy. Sustainability and green economy. Sustainability and green economy. Net zero target by net zero target by 2070. Focus on solar. Focus on solar, wind, electronic vehicle, electronic vehicle, green hydrogen, green hydrogen, green hydrogen, and green credit program. Green credit program. Green credit program. This is sustainability and green economy they are focusing on. So net zero target by 2070. Focus on solar, wind, electronic vehicle, green hydrogen, green credit program. This is the objective of green economy and sustainability. This is the objective of green economy and sustainability. I hope it is being clear till here. Now, friends, we had launched our foundation batch for 2026. This foundation batch is for both offline online students. If you are in Prayagraj, Karol Bagh, or even in Mukherjee Nagar, you can join our offline batch. In Mukherjee Nagar, we have Hindi batch, and for in Prayagraj and Karol Bagh, we have English batches. And if you are in any part of country, you can join online batches also. This is for online students and offline students both. These all are expert faculties of geography, history, polity, essay, ethics, society, economy, IR, environment, science tech, CSAT. So you all can join this foundation batch. This is for 2026, covering whole mains and prelims. Covering whole mains and prelims. Now, let's talk about the challenges in front of India to become a developed nation by 2047. What are the challenges in front of India to become developed by 2047? What are the specific challenges? These challenges are again very important. First is jobless growth. Jobless growth. High unemployment. High unemployment. High unemployment among youth. High unemployment among youth and rising underemployment and rising underemployment and rising underemployment, especially in rural areas. Especially in rural areas. So first is high unemployment among youth and rising underemployment, especially in rural areas. Second, skill gap. Skill gap. There is lack of industry relevant. There is lack of industry relevant skills. There is lack of industry relevant skill. We need to transit. We need to transit Indian economy to knowledge economy. Third, low productivity in agriculture. Low productivity in agriculture. Low productivity in agriculture. Fragmented land holding. Fragmented land holding. Fragmented land holding. Inadequate irrigation. Fragmented land holding. Inadequate irrigation. Price instability. Price instability and stagnancy in GDP. Fragmented land holding, inadequate irrigation, price instability and stagnancy in GDP. Fourth, slow manufacturing growth. Slow manufacturing growth. Slow manufacturing growth, power, lack of power supply, high logistic cost, need for great integration, need for great integration in global value chain. In global value chain. ठीक है. So jobless growth, high unemployment among youth and rising underemployment, especially in rural areas. A skill gap, there is lack of industry relevant skill. We need to transit Indian economy to knowledge economy. Low productivity in agriculture, fragmented land holding, inadequate irrigation, price instability and stagnancy in GDP. Then slow manufacturing growth, lack of power supply, high logistic cost, need for great integration in global value chain. These are the specific things. Then fifth, export competitiveness. Export competitiveness. Export competitiveness. India's share in global merchandise export, in global merchandise export, in global merchandise export is less than 2%. Is less than 2%. Tariff hike, and trade uncertainty, make it worse. India need export-led growth. India need export-led growth. India need export-led growth. Sixth, logistic and connectivity gap. Logistic and connectivity gap. Logistic and connectivity gap. India ranked 38th. India ranked 38th in logistic performance index. In logistic performance index. In logistic performance index, freight is costly and slow. Freight is costly and slow. Then seventh, health system weakness. Health system weakness. The health system is also weak in context of India. Spending on public health, spending on public health is 2% of GDP. Is 2% of GDP. Huge urban and rural gap in health. Rural gap in health. Then eighth, high inequality. High inequality. The 1% population, the 1% population, the 1% population, the 1% population hold 40% of wealth. Hold 40% of wealth. Then ninth, climate change. Climate change problem. Climate change problem, especially climate change problem especially create water stress, especially create water stress. Then unplanned urbanization, unplanned urbanization, slum congestions, slums, congestions, slums, congestions, poor water drainage, poor water supply, poor water supply, lack of affordable, lack of affordable, lack of affordable housing. That is also a major challenge. And lastly, implementation deficit. Implementation deficit. What is implementation deficit? Policies are often good, usually. Policies are often good. Usually, policies are often good. Policies are often good, but so much delay, but so much delay in execution, so much delay in execution also led to coordination failure. So these are the major challenges that our Indian economy is facing. These are the 11 challenges our Indian economy is currently facing. And these 11 challenges need to be addressed as soon as possible to become a developed nation by 2047. Okay, to become a developed nation by 2047. This is already known. Now, UPSC mains answer writing batch. Friends, many of the times you people said to me in the paid classes also, in other sessions also, ki sir, we are very much in trouble how to write the answers. So friends, this batch is for you. If you want to practice a good answer writing, you can join this batch. This is in online mode. You can write the answers in Hindi and English. You can submit your answers. Our team will evaluate it and will give the feedbacks. So you all can register now. This is the number 9319293730. You can call on this number and ask for further details. Now moving to the last segment or last point of this particular segment, that is rural India growth. This is again very important. Rural India growth. Rural India growth. Now if you see the growth of rural India in last 5-10 years, that is phenomenal. So rural India growth is again a kind of an important topic when we talk about the rising inequality or the regional undivide persist in India. So this rural India growth is again an important topic that is in this only. So now, rural consumer demand rural consumer demand is outpacing urban demand. Is outpacing urban demand. Is outpacing urban demand. Declining rural urban consumption inequality. Rural urban declining rural urban consumption inequality. Then increase in monthly per capita consumption expenditure per capita consumption expenditure per capita consumption expenditure in rural India. What are the point? First is rural India growth. Rural consumer demand is outpacing urban demand. Declining rural urban consumption inequality. Increase in monthly per capita consumption expenditure in rural India. That's why I'm saying this rural economic growth is phenomenal in last 5-6 years. Now, even if we talk about the reasons, the reasons are amazing. First is rising disposable income. Rising disposable income. Rising disposable income means non-farm diversification. Non-farm diversification has enhanced. Non-farm diversification has enhanced. Second, reduce rural poverty. Reduce rural poverty. Reduction in rural poverty. Rural poverty fell to less than 5% for first time in 2023-24. Then role of government. Role of government. Targeted government schemes. Targeted government scheme benefit transfer. Like direct benefit transfer, PM Kisan, injected funds, injected liquidity and promote financial stability. What are these? First, rising disposable income, non-farm diversification has enhanced. Reduce rural poverty. Rural poverty fell to less than 5% for first time in 2023-24. Role of government. Targeted government scheme like direct benefit transfer, PM Kisan, injected liquidity and promote financial stability. These are the three major issues. Fourth, infrastructure development. Infrastructure development. Now, infrastructure development is again very important. Development of physical and digital infrastructure. Development of physical and digital infrastructure led to market access. Promote digital payment. E-commerce, access to online services. Then financial inclusion. Financial inclusion. How financial inclusion? कोई बात नहीं शिवशंकर, अपना ध्यान रखिए. फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन, एक्सपेंशन ऑफ फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज, expansion of financial services, expansion of financial services in rural India, in rural India, empower consumer market, empower consumer market, empower consumer market and promote economic growth, and promote economic growth. So these are the major specific points that are regarding to economic growth prospect of rural India. Economic growth prospect of rural India. I hope it is being clear to you all what are the growth prospect regarding to economic growth of rural India. Now if we focus on special focus areas, we just need to focus on specific areas. We just need to focus on specific areas. What are these areas? Intra-rural inequality. Intra-rural inequality. Intra-rural inequality. Rural income growth is not. Rural income growth. Rural income growth is not uniformly distributed. Uniformly distributed. Uniformly distributed and increasing socio-economic inequality. Increasing socio-economic inequality. Then infrastructure gap. Infrastructure gap. Infrastructure gap, inadequate last mile connectivity. Inadequate last mile connectivity. Inadequate last mile connectivity and logistic bottleneck. And logistic bottleneck. Fragmented supply chain. Fragmented supply chain. Fragmented supply chain. Lack of internet penetration. Lack of internet penetration. Lack of internet penetration. Cold storage. Cold storage issues. And basic infra. And basic infrastructure. Third, digital divide. Digital divide. What all? Low rural digital literacy. Low rural digital literacy. Low rural digital literacy and language barrier. So these are the focus areas we need to look on. So guys, that's all in our this special series of mains. We had covered 50 classes, and in these 50 classes I had covered whole economy mains. I had covered whole economy mains in this 50 classes. I'm not saying that this is enough. You need to supplement them with current affairs. You need to add relevant recent datas also. But this will give you enough confidence to prepare for mains exam. So we had covered these 50 classes now. We had covered the whole GS mains paper 3. From tomorrow onwards, we will start with current affairs, the most important current affairs for mains exam. The most important current affairs for mains exam. We will start this same series, same timing 11:30 a.m. Same timing 11:30 a.m. I hope you all like this series. And if you all like this series, please comment, please message, please like, please subscribe our channel, please share these videos to all those who are giving this year's mains or even preparing for next year exam. That's all from my side. From tomorrow onwards, we will start with the current affairs of mains prospect. Now, this mains series of 50 lectures is completed. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Take care.